Alright, this is going to be my first example of balancing equations. Oh my god. Yep, great job, Jen. Alright, so let's just look at something you might see. Overall, this is pretty basic. This is a 3. Yikers. We got 10x plus 3 is equal to 5x minus 7. So, we got multiple terms on multiple sides. You have a lot of flexibility here. You can flip it around if you really wanted to and get 5x minus 7 and 10x plus 3. Some people like always moving their variables to the left. So they will get rid of the one on the right so they can get x always on the left side or y always on the left side. Doesn't really matter though. One way I like to look at it, and I've heard other teachers talk about it, is they want to move the smallest variable when adding and subtracting. The reason they say that, so I'm going to say opposite of the smallest variable. This works for adding and subtracting. This keeps our result positive. And I'm not saying positive like your answer is always going to be positive, but watch, if I move the small one, negative 5x, now I'm going to get 5x plus 3. No x is on this side anymore, and I want to make sure I don't lose that negative sign, but I would have negative 7. Why did that happen? Because 5 is the smallest. If I subtract a smaller number from a larger number, I'll have a positive. But let's say I move the big one. What's going to happen? While I'm erasing and rewriting it, think about what's going to happen. So if I move the big one, 10x, 10 is larger than 5, and do the opposite of a positive 10, which is negative 10, I still have a 3 on this side, and on the right side, 5 minus 10, that gives me a negative. So if you add or subtract the larger term, you will end up with a negative. And if you're okay with working with that, that's fine. But for me, I'm going to try to keep I have enough things going on in these problems, so I'm just going to try to keep as many things positive as possible. So I'm going to go ahead, and my first step is going to be to do the opposite of 5x, positive 5x, to both sides. And that's going to get all of my x's, all my variables on the left, negative on both, right? So that's going to be 5x plus 3 equals, and like I said before, I'll get to say it again, don't forget that negative. People will lose that sign right there. Common mistake. Don't lose your sign. And then now it's a 2-step equation again, right? So essentially this one was 3 steps, but I'm just going to call it balancing equations now because you're going to have multiple steps in general. So now I want to move my furthest term, so I'm going to do the opposite of positive 3 to both. So that's going to be a negative 3 to both. Subtracting, bring down my 5x. Negative 7 minus 3 is negative 10. I have the same sign, so I add and keep the sign, right? And then my last step is going to be just a simple 1-step equation. Divide both by 5. So the opposite of multiplying by 5x, this is multiplying when you have a number and a variable attached to each other like this. So we're going to do the opposite of multiplying and divide both sides by 5. Cancel out my numbers, not my x. Opposite signs, so negative when multiplying and dividing. X is equal to negative 2. So this is a basic balancing equation. I also just, talked about generally some small tippy stuff. Alright, cool.